live. Okay. Well, basically, today I'm going to give you guys a trade recap. And it's J Trey's in the building, like always, you know how it is. And today we had a very interesting quad, which OPEX, a lot of fuck with you type of events. And I knew there was about to be some fuckery going down, and I probably should have taken the day off, but I did not. So here we are. We had a pretty interesting day, might I say. I will say that I was building a short position for next Friday, as most of you guys know, and I definitely sold that at open, just so you guys know, because I was not letting the intraday candle fuck up my gain. Sorry, this is all off rip. So like, if I like stutter or like I like fucking have some like weird issues with the camera, like just give me a break, like you know what I mean. But so basically, let me just get to it. So Reddit open, we had a huge gap down, and I was like, okay, this is the chance for market makers to trap some bears. I hate talking about them like that. I think it's kind of cringe, but basically, I was thinking like we're gonna have a huge bear trap, right? And like so, basically, I was. I was like, here, my zone to add calls is 383, and if we hold that, like hold over 382, like I'm gonna keep like just like adding a couple calls, whatever. And basically, we got a pretty nice pump, like a pretty like close, like decent after open. So like basically at around 7 a.m. I know, so it's 10 a.m. on here, so it's like this is Eastern time. So for my Eastern followers, whatever, you can like, because I refer to the time a lot. So basically, this is still open for me. So like 6:30 to 8 is like free game. Like there's gonna be a lot of movement, and then probably like 8 to like 11, I really shouldn't be trading, but I do a lot of the time because I'm like home. Like who cares, right? But I wanted to get a lotto call, like a long in there. So basically, I need to stop saying basically. Goddamn, nigga, what the fuck am I on? Anyways, I was bottom feeding a little bit. This was more of a lotto play. So if you check the trade log, so right here, SPY 391s. These was more of like a lotto play. I don't like saying that because I feel like gambling, but kind of was like a little bit. I'm not even gonna lie to you. Usually I like seeing like the range set first before I take like a trade. But I had a hunch today. I had a bullish hunch, and so basically, nigga, holy shit, stop me from saying basically. Like that is off. Like that needs to stop. No more mid. No more basically. Fuck. All right. Anyways, right here we had big loading. Like these wicks down tell me like there's big loading, like of like shares, whatever you want to call it, like institutions, retail, buying the dip, whatever. So, not gonna say it. Right here, I entered at 0.65. Not sure where that is on the chart exactly, but it was around like 383. So I was like, I was scaling in to calls like in this range with a 382 stop, and yeah, what do you know? We wicked down right on into 382, and I'm pretty sure that was a big level from some other point. But I was like, okay, as long as we're like above 383 and afloat, like everything is good, and I'm just gonna see where this goes. I also have my targets in there, obviously. So my target was at 384.55, so that was PM lows, and 384.55 was achieved, and this is that yellow line right here. And obviously these fibs weren't there yet because the range wasn't set, but I took profit right there, and that was around like 15% and like 0.73. And then I obviously let the runners run, and my second target was the pre-market highs, but we didn't get there. So like I had like a little stop order that like stopped me in profit, and that's all right, like. And then I actually did end up taking this put trade once we crossed under the this trend right here. But I was like, okay, maybe this will wick, you know what I mean? And then we got like a pretty hard selling in the close. And like another thing that made me stop out of that call trade, was this huge volume right here. And like you can tell like, well, obviously it was huge volume because in the group chat we were talking about this as well. There was a huge dark pool print at 385.60, and that's probably why this volume was like so fucking massive right here, you know what I mean? Like that is crazy. So I was like, that's pretty obviously sell volume if we go down right after. And once we bounce back up and we kind of got a retest, I don't know if you like, it's probably not an FVG, but I took the second candle. So I took the second candle right here, in this range, I think, and my target was just VWAP. So this was just a quick scalp, but I was also targeting the 6-1 because we were now range bound, and I figured that most longs would try to long in this golden zone, and I was one of those longs. I was trying to long at the 6-1, mostly because I thought we were going to retrace and then bounce back up and go like moon, giga moon, whatever. But instead, we got giga death, and this is where my call trade got fucked on. It was pretty ugly because I had scaled in like a lot because we were holding the 6-1. I was talking about in the group chat. I was like, as long as we hold the 6-1, we were probably gonna rock it. And we got like a small rocket. But then immediately after we got like a fucking giga death candle. I was like, God damn, nigga, like fuck me. It was just not my day right then because I didn't sell any on this big pumpy candle. You know what I mean? I was like, like, bro, like this thing is going to the moon. But so I mean that's all right though. I was like, maybe I ended up getting stopped out, so that ended up being an L of a trade. It's right here, sadly. But and the thing is, it was green too, so it's tough, and that's just the game you have to play. But it's all right. So basically, right here, fuck, I said basically again, but right over here, I was talking about it. I think I was talking about Apple breaking like a small trend, and that would probably send us to low a day on SPY, right? So this is the small uptrend that, and we had a tweezer top right here, and I was feeling super confident because like VWAP was the king today. If you notice, like obviously we got to close over VWAP up here, and then we kind of took off a little bit, but this right here, up here kind of, and then VWAP right here was holding us down. And I was like, okay, like if we can't break VWAP again, this is when I'm going to enter the trade. So basically, fuck, damn, bro. All right. So I drew this trend and I was like, okay, we have like a little bit of room to go down. And my target was low of day, obviously, because I don't know why this one is right here. This should be right here. But so this 380p was, so I bought it like around right here on that candle. And let me draw the trend line actually for you guys. So right here, so closed under the trend, and I was feeling pretty confident that we would at least hit the low of day because we had just tested VWAP we had tested VWAP twice at this point, and it was pretty obvious that SPY, like the sellers were coming out and they weren't playing, but I still didn't think we would see 380 today, and I talked about that in a tweet just from the buying pressure alone, and we actually ended up forming like a near perfect like to the cent double bottom at 382.11, and that is where I was like, that is where I, well, in that range, it was obviously wasn't exactly at 32.11, but that is where that was my first target, and that is where I took profit, and it was a pretty good trade, and and I had two decent sells. It wasn't a great trade. Like I didn't have really good put trades today, even though there was really good put trade opportunities, which sucks, but it is what it is. And then and those were also like, so I actually sold like here first, like at the 7-8, and then I sold at low a day. I don't know why I kind of went away from my target, but I wasn't feeling really confident in the downside, and I was already kind of getting chopped up a little bit throughout the day, so I was like, like might as well just sell this one out. But then this is like my biggest trade of the day. I was so happy with this. This is where I told all my friends, I was like, you better get some fucking long right now. Like, you better go, like, fucking, not full for it, but, like, fucking, like, bag on some SPY calls. So right here was my, so I was basically targeting the dark pool print and high day and I knew, like, today we would get a nice pump, like, because of, like, the compression, just the compression of the option prices. So the theta burn was really taking a fucking hit, and it was just like chopping people up. Like, this is some crazy, I mean, when you look at it now, it's like not some crazy chop action, but when you're looking at the candles in real time, there's wicks all over the place, and you're like, holy shit, like how the fuck am I supposed to trade this? But then, and I was also wondering, like, what am I doing wrong? Like, what is happening today? Is there like a trend that I'm missing? And it actually ended up being from our pre-market level. So right here, I took like this pre-market level right here, and it actually had a downtrend forming at all the spots we were rejected today. And like right here, right here, right here, kind of right here. Not really. We didn't get enough like pump in there, but right here, and then also, but we were forming a huge flag, like not necessarily a flag, but the setup was definitely giving me some bullish bias, mostly because we were getting like these wicks down all day, like underneath these red candles, and like the buy candles that we had were pretty like risky. And oh yeah, also I wanted to talk about this. So right here, I when I did hold through this wick down, and that was probably a bad idea because it was obviously kind of fucked with the premiums, but I held through that, and I probably shouldn't have, but it's all right. But anyways, um, so this last trade of the day was super important. Basically, I was once we broke this smaller downtrend right here, I was like, yo, like that was where I found like this big downtrend on the day, and I was like feeling so confident. I kind of wanted to full pour, but I didn't. I put in like maybe like 30%. But anyways, right here, this was a huge trend break, and obviously we got like a fucking like massive like 1.5 point candle, and I was like, yo, like this is crazy, because we got like the loading in here and it was getting really compressed, and I tweeted out like specifically, I remember this, we're setting up amazing for the last hour of the day, and like all this compression and like all this building, like all these shorts piling in, they're gonna get squeezed. I talked about it like a few times, and I was like ready for like one last like fucking maximum to just squeeze the fuck out of these like dumbass shorts that are shorting the hole, like quite literally. And we got my target. We got my high a day target and the dark pool print. So I sold right in here, and obviously it was a pretty fucking good trade. I'm not even gonna lie. Like it felt good to hit that at the end of the day when I had such a rough trading day. And just like this perfect downtrend break right here, this full candle close over was awesome. But I was kind of had the bullish bias already, so I was loading in this range with my friends. And then as long as we were holding that uptrend like line, I was all with it. And I said, second ads would be good right at VWAP, and they were pretty good. And we ended up closing the day like crazy. Like I didn't expect like this massive like after hours action, but people were loading all throughout the day, and it kind of confuses me on whether that dark pool was actually a sell or a buy. But yeah, and that's basically the last trade of the day. And here's the trade log again. And I don't know if you guys have any questions down below. Let me know, and just let me know how you guys liked it. All right, peace.